Good morning, everybody. It's Javier. Very, very good morning. Thank you for being here today. I wanted to just, first of all, wish everybody a very happy new year. I'm very excited for what the future holds in store. I'm really excited about the state of the school campaign. I'm even more excited about the police campaign because today's the first official day that the governing body, LAPRAC, will start sending out the emails on our behalf to the actual fully active and paid team captains, about 150 or so. So we're going to be busy, and as excited as I am, I'm also very concerned, to be very honest with you, about a couple of things in regards to how I feel we are all ready to take on this challenge. And from 1 to 10, I'm at about a 5.5, 6, and I'm hoping to elevate that with some of the information I'm going to share with you today, because I think we are very blessed to be in the position to make 2024 literally the best and most profitable year of our business careers, but we have to be ready for it. And as of right now, if I had to, answer the question, are we ready collectively? I would say no. And I think that that's something we can all change real quick if we get ourselves from where we are to where we need to be. And I'm going to talk to you about that here in just 1 second as well. I'm just waiting for a few more people to come in. They're coming in a little late. And then we're going to go ahead and kick it off. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm also going to mention two big things, or two main things. One of them is the whole thing with the FCC. I keep getting a lot of questions from people asking me about how that is going to affect us, because it's effective basically as of today. And the reality is that, well, I have an answer for you in regards to that. Does it have the potential to affect our team? Yes, because some people do fall into that realm. The overwhelming majority of us do not. And I'll talk to you about that right now. It's a hot topic all over all of the social media and all of the marketing worlds as it relates to financial services or any kind of service, but especially as it relates to life insurance. So we'll go ahead and cover all that right now. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. So I want to thank everybody. And so again, we're going to talk a little bit. First of all, I'm just curious if anybody here has even heard of the FCC ruling. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody? If you don't, you don't. It's no big deal.
No.
I follow it primarily because I like to follow marketing technology as to what people are doing to generate their appointments, what technology they're scheduling, and just from that perspective. But the FCC came out with the new ruling, and basically what they are trying to do, which I completely understand what they're trying to do, is they're trying to cut down on spam, unsolicited, phishing scams, and all kinds of stuff. But they cast a pretty wide net. And so in our world, what it basically means in our world is that it's technically going to be illegal to purchase leads. And a lot of people do run their businesses by purchasing leads. And so it's still up in the air. They're waiting to see who's the first to get fined, type of thing. That's really what determines most of what we eventually run with as to what exactly is going to happen. We don't have that problem, because I'm not going to bore you with it. If you really want to know, I'm going to give you a link to where the document lies and you can read it. It's mostly about spamming, unsolicited text messages. So that's why it's under the FCC and not the FTC. And so again, it's not that they're going after life insurance agents, but what they're simply saying in a nutshell is, look, well, I'll cover it here in just 1 second. Just hang tight. A couple of first things first. I do want to welcome everyone to 2024. I think that we are in the best position we've ever been to make 2024 the banner year of our lives, of our business lives, the most profitable one as well. But I'm also very concerned, to be very honest with you. And one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about here in just 1 second is why I'm so concerned. And I'm not lying to you. I'm not exaggerating to you, but I don't like to deal, if you would, in false hope, as they call it. I just don't like to do that. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, and tell you that I think that, man, we're going to go kick butt. That's up there with we're going to lose weight together, and it's just simply, for most people, just not going to happen. But having said that, I think we could be in a better position as far as the number of people we have, who we have, the training, the tools, and many other things that I think that if we just simply address the most important issue of all, we will have. I'm going to make it a banner year. I can promise you that, and I'm sure a lot of you will make it a banner year. The only question is how efficient and to what degree. Are you going to literally swim against the current the entire year? It's very tiring. And number two, why not do that with less prospects, less appointments, and so on, and still make more money? So to what degree do you want to monetize 2024? And I have a pretty tough nut to crack. And I'm not going to get into it that this is my first year going into a new year with just the FFS streams of income that I can count on. So I need to scale it, and I need to scale it quickly. My goal is by June to double my income from where I ended the year to where I think I should be, and then double it again. But if I don't do it in the first half, I sure as hell ain't going to do it in the second half. So let's just not talk smack about wishful thinking type of thing. I'm going to show you how we're going to, or at least how I'm going to do that. And hopefully you're part of that plan as it relates to making this a truly, truly banner year for everybody that is involved. We've got what we need as it relates to the raw material, meaning what we need appointments, and we are on track to hit about 350 appointments in the month of January. This is the calendar of what we have to work with. However, if we bring our old stinky selves from 2023 into 2024, we're going to get very low results. We really need to work on ourselves on an individual basis. We really need to increase our closing ratio. Our closing ratio, the technical term is sucks, and we need to increase that, because for you to double your income, you don't need to see double the teachers. You don't need to go and open up more schools or double the number of schools or double the number of presentations. All you need to do, for God's sakes, is close more of the ones that you saw right now. I was talking to a few people, and they kept going around in circles and circles and circles when I was asking them, look, listen, if you want me to show you what I'm talking about, you have to start by being honest with yourself. I'm honest with myself. I'm telling you that we are potentially going to have a killer year. And I say potentially because there's a lot that's still left to be determined. As we are right now, we're not going to have a banner year. If we drag our old stinky, smelly selves from last year with our stinky, smelly skills from last year, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. It'll be a good year. Don't get me wrong. But the difference between a good year and a banner year, I'm talking about double, triple the income type of deal, is your mindset. And most people just don't like to assess where they're at. And if that's you, that's fine. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I'm going to just move you aside and go get me new people, because you have to understand where you stand. If I was to ask you, what's your closing ratio for all of last year, for the last month, for the last 3 months, what would the average be? I don't know how many people here can honestly say it's 60% or higher. And there are some that can't say that, by the way, but there's too many people that can't. And I think that I'm not going to say this person's name, but I was having a very good conversation with one of our agents that just came on board over the summer. And what I loved about this person is that this person would be very honest, was telling me how much in the last just 1 month they've been able to blossom and understand why they lost so much of the business that we put in front of them back in July, August, September. And that's fine. We know that's going to happen to a certain degree. But for all of you that have been here since June, we're not going to allow that in the coming year. So we all have to get our act together and understand what skills do I need to make this happen. And I'm going to show you one of those tools here just 1 second as well. And so again, we have this. As a matter of fact, the next big countdown is not the New Year's because we're here, but rather the back to school, which is going to be on January 8th. We're going to be back in session with LAUSD and most other schools January 8th. On January 9th, myself and a few other people are going to go on a school opening blitz that's going to take us as long as it has to, because right now we don't have that many appointments. So what else are you going to do? We took Christmas off, we took New Year's Eve off, we took New Year's week off. Come on, I want to get to work. And so what I'm going to do with a few people is we're going to meet up on the 9th, which is Tuesday. We're going to make sure we have all of our latest, greatest gear, forms, and so on. And then we're going to hit the field, and we're going to go on a massive opening blitz for the month of February and March. We need to get the first quarter of the year packed, because as it is, sometimes we go to these schools and they forgot, or they cancel, or some other training came up that they bumped us out. And so if all you have is one school that you're banking on, because if you've been here since June, and if you think you're going to be getting appointments from us, and only appointments from us, you're wrong. We want people to be self-sufficient, make the big money. Just like I told everyone when we were at the actual event that we held this past Wednesday, and then we have another one, in-service training, the final in-service training. Some people registered for it, other people didn't. That's fine with me. Some people made it, some people didn't. That's fine with me. But I know exactly who's on the same sheet of music with me and who is not. And we're going to be very selective of our preset appointments, because we're going to start with the people that are coming on board now. We have a fresh new group of people coming in, And we want to make sure that we are building, meaning we have people that we bring on board, we make them strong, they make very good money, and then we bring new people to work on top of those people, not to water down the leads, if you would, or appointments. So make sure you understand that part as well. Again, the 2024 School Campaign and Service Training Workshop is this coming Wednesday, which is the second and final one that we're doing. A couple of things that we rolled out were the income models to show you where you should be, where you need to be as far as income is concerned. And we also showed everybody, and for those that haven't been to one yet, because the last one is this Wednesday, we showed you the new presentation that we have that we're going to do when we go back to schools for the second time. Usually the first one we do the the strategy that we teach teachers how to maximize their retirement. Now we have a new one, which are the 7 pitfalls that teachers need to avoid. And it's a great presentation. I mean, the feedback, I didn't write it. We actually have people with college degrees that work at stuff like that, and not just approve it or deny it. And it's done. It's officially signed off. And so we're going to roll it out. And for those that weren't there at the last in-service training, you're going to see it. So you're bringing something new, something that is definitely going to compel people to make an appointment. But the question is, are you going to be ready? We're also going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is where I'm going with this whole thing. And you need to work on yourself. Please understand, appreciate that the 2023 version of you is not acceptable in 2024. So if all you are bringing to the table is the same old you, keep it. We don't want it. Because unless you're going to open up your schools and then you can go see your own appointments and do whatever the hell you want to do with them, but you're not going to do that with us because we understand that it's a new year, a new approach, and we have to be better than we were last year. These are the people that have registered for tomorrow's sold out event. Actually, one person canceled from here, so there's one seat available. But everybody else, please don't be that person that registered, took up a seat, and didn't show up. Please don't be that person because there's a lot of people that want to go to this event, but it's completely sold out, except for one seat that's available because somebody canceled over the weekend, as we asked them to do. And that's the responsible thing to do, not just register because you want to hopefully think you're going to be there. And then, of course, you don't show up. That's just simply not cool. I also have a gift for everybody that's going to, I mentioned this at the last in-service training, and I'm going to, for those that are coming on this Wednesday, I'm also going to go ahead and make it available to you as well. And that is something that our training was built upon. And that is a program called Mastering Influence. And for those that have not been to it or been through it or haven't been through it in the last 90 days, you need to go through the entire thing. Because remember, when somebody has a closing ratio or it's not closing, let me start by asking you you guys a question right now. When you get an appointment, and I'm talking about average, run of the mill, emphasizing on average, when you have a teacher, understand one thing. This is where you need to lay the foundation of how good or how bad you're doing. And there are times when we suck, when we do really, really bad, and we must acknowledge it, own it, and better it. So let me ask you a question, and I'll start by making a statement. I would say that between 10 to 15% of the teachers that you meet with are thinking about doing something for their retirement beyond their CalSTRS because they see the teachers that they work with that have been there forever and a day, that cannot afford to retire. Many of them see them retire on a Friday, like we say, only to start a new career on a Monday for the simple fact that they cannot afford to do so. Let me just give you one slide, and I'm going to share one slide, and I hope it's here, and I hope it's the most recent one. Hold on. And this is part, let's see here. Okay. I'm going to pull it up. I know you can't see it, so bear with me. Okay, this one. Okay, here we go. This is not the most recent because I think there were a lot of corrections being made, so bear with me. But what I'm going to show you right now, one person made here, let me just show you this real quick. And I know you can't see it, so bear with me. So, okay, here we go. So what you see this, well, I don't have anybody with the camera on, so I'm assuming you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. I'm looking at the preview screen, and you can see it. These are the other presentations that we're doing. One of the things that we need to do a much better job of, whether you're a one-on-one closer with the teacher or whether you are presenting, the one thing that we are doing a horrible job of, and I'll tell you why we're doing a horrible job. We are doing a horrible job of disturbing people. We are not doing that. And you're going to see one of the rules when it comes to disturbing people in just 1 second. Most of you are sitting down to educate a teacher. That's not our job. That's not your job. Sometimes we sit down to inform them about their CalSTRS. That's not our damn job. That's not why we're here. That's not why we're there. We're there for only one reason, to disturb them. So anyways, I'll leave you with this right here so that it will help you when you're doing the math, if you would, with a teacher. I'm going to fast forward right to it because I need you to understand one thing as far as closing ratios. As you can see, the presentation starts the same with less slides. It goes right into the presentation. We're going to give them a copy of the CalSTRS. These are the top 7 pitfalls that they fall into. And here's the one that I want to talk to you about. Pitfall number 2 is that the failure to anticipate a potential massive income drop at retirement. Massive, with the emphasis on massive. You're going to experience a massive income drop at retirement that most teachers simply cannot overcome. And the time to overcome it is now, not when you are retired, because by then it's too late and your future, your destiny is sealed. Your fate is sealed. And so let me give you an example here. When I ask people, teachers, anybody, what is the average pension? I mean, the average pension out there right now with full benefits for a member-only benefit, it's only $4,800. Most teachers will laugh at you if you ask them, can you live off $4,800 today? Well, that's pretty much what it is. But the reality is that most leave the beneficiary option and they get a lot less than that. Now, this comes directly from CalSTRS. In CalSTRS, this is part of the a 2-page handout that they give them. It's an outstanding, which we're going to give you at tomorrow's event. Not today, don't ask me for it, but if you don't have this with you in digital format or in laminated format, man, let me tell you something. Okay, well, anyways, it clearly tells you right there and right then, CalSTRS pension benefits replace an average of 50 to 60% of members' final salary in retirement. So that means you're going to take between a 40, literally, this is directly from them. You're going to take between anything between 40 and 50% pay cut. So my question to you, Mr. Mrs. Teacher, do you think you're going to be able to afford a 40 to 50% pay cut today, let alone when you're the most vulnerable? That's what we're talking about. And so here's what I'm telling you. I was talking to somebody who was actually proud of their crappy closing ratio. And what I told this person was the following, and I'm going to say this with a lot of love. I told this person, listen to me, 10 to 15% of teachers that you meet with, if you were to screw it up, they will buy from you because they've been thinking about it. They see people around them. They're wondering, where do I go to get this set up, to get something going? And here you come. So just by you being present, 10 to 15% of them will buy in spite of you maybe not being the most polished, the more persuasive, the most disturbing, whatever. Just get the hell out of the way. Where do I sign? So that means that if your closing ratio is around 20, 30%, you're only picking up about 10% of the business because the other 15% would have come without you. And so that's why you have to get better. You must improve your skill set. And you're not going to fix that by getting more appointments, doing more presentations, opening up more schools. You need to better yourself. You need to knock it off. Don't be proud of that crappy, closing ratio, because of the simple fact that 15% will just buy just because someone's there, not because you're there. And so that's why we have to set high standards for ourselves. You can't walk around, I'm going to have a banner year, best year ever, I'm going to make all kinds of money. Not with those crappy skills. No. And so you have to understand and acknowledge, number one, there's room for improvement. And in some of our cases, like me, there's a lot of room for a lot of improvement. A lot. And so I say that, like I said earlier, with a lot of love, because I want you to understand that it's not going to be luck. It's not just because it's the new year. No, it's because you got better. And hopefully, among all the things you're doing right now, you're getting better within your trade. we are going to monitor and publish everyone's closing ratio, because I get the call from so-and-so saying, hey, I need 2 closers. What do you think of this person? I'll tell you right now, I might not like the person, but their closing ratio is high and they do really good. So who cares what I think of them? Use them. And of course, the flip side is true as well. And so we're going to publish every single one of our closers' closing rate so everybody understands. So don't call me. Just go to the website. There's his or her name. And right next to it, it shows you. And if you see a 25%, 29%, and then next to them, there's somebody with a 60% closing ratio, I think you know what you need to do. And so again, everybody's closing ratio is going to be published so that everybody knows. Now, I don't expect a brand new person's closing ratio to be the same as somebody who's been here 6 months or a year or 10 years. But my God, are you pulling your own weight? Or are you just simply taking the 10% that's going to do it regardless? And you're feeling good because you're at 25% closing rate. The first 15% is free. That means you only have a 10%. And we want to make sure that that's none of you. And so you have to do that. You're going to have to do that. So anyways, I'm not going to get into the whole 7 pitfalls, but my God, if you learn how to talk about these 7 things that you see here, it's incredible how much higher of a closing ratio you're going to have. And at the same time, the beauty behind this is what? That every single thing that I'm showing you right now is going to help you further the cause. And I'm not going to get too much into it because this is what it's about. Now, let me go back over here and continue. And then we're going to wrap it up because I know we have a lot of work to do, especially work on ourselves, like I was saying. And so mastering influence helps you do that. Now, I'm not going to get into it. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is the Dropbox folder that I'm going to give you as a gift to you. It's my, well, it was my birthday yesterday. It's, a lot of you know, thank you for the birthday wishes. I was born on January 1st, which I think is pretty cool. But anyways, it's a 10-day program. You don't have to do all 10 days. I think you should, but you don't have to. But what you really want at the very least is at the bottom, you see where it says Mastering Influence Workbook. The workbook is what goes with all of the program. Now, the workbook is what you see here with some screenshots. And I'm talking about a couple of things you have to get better. We collectively suck, and we have to improve it. Please don't toot your horn and don't tell me how just because it's a new year. No, because you're going to get better. 10 strategies of top sellers include affecting their ability to affect their own emotional state. Some do it well, others don't do it at all. We walk into, and I'm not going to get into it, manage the customer state. Now, that's pretty cool. Now we're getting into the deeper stuff. Why do you think when somebody walks in, let me ask you guys a question. When you walk in to see a teacher, a cop, well, let's just leave it at teachers, and they don't buy, why do you think they didn't buy? What are some of the cases? I mean, reasons. Anyway.
Didn't disturb them enough.
We didn't disturb them. Number one, what else? Anybody?
Lack of urgency. They're too young. They don't understand the value
Okay,
quite yet.
now we're going to get into the good stuff. Either A, lack of urgency on their part, or our inability to develop a sense of urgency. But you're right. Some of them, if we go by that theory, a lot of the times we would write them off. They're too young, and then the others are too old. But the measure of a really good agent that works these markets is our ability to develop. So we sometimes have to reward it. But you're right. Lack of urgency on their part. That is the most common thing with anybody under 30. Now, I know a lot of people, agents that write a lot of business in that segment, in that market. Why? It's their ability to develop a sense of urgency. And that's a closer. How do you take somebody who wasn't? I'm too young, I have plenty of time. Well, something must have triggered you to make an appointment. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you like to someday, not right now, one day, would you like to own a home? Most people know that just from an investment perspective, it makes more sense to buy than rent. So the answer for most of them will be yes. Do you think you ever see yourself forming a family in the future? Most, not all. Yes, I do. Now, do you see yourself being a teacher until the day you die? No, hell no. I see all the old teachers. Okay, then what makes you think you're going to be any different than them? And so what I'm saying is that if you've taken the time to drive there and block half of your day to go see this person, and you're going to accept simply, I'm too young, I'm very good, thank you. It should be in your mind. Don't tell them that, but in your mind, it should be like, bullshit. I did not get out of bed. I did not drive my butt over here to see you to hear such a stupid excuse. Well, that's wonderful, but let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, I'm not going to ask him, can I ask you a question? I'm there already. I'm here because you scheduled me. And we're going to talk about that at a later time. We're not going to do it. What are the reasons that people not buy?
They hear negative connotation about IULs imploding. I've had two people
Perfect.
talk about imploding.
Perfect. As a matter of fact, one of the ones that, as a matter of fact, that's not right, because the way that we end, and I think you're gonna be there tomorrow. The way I end the class is I always show. That's when I simply say, look, listen. One of the things I would like to do, I felt the exact same way when I first came across this company and I got my own IUL. Let me fire up the website and let me show you my personal contract. It's almost this one right here, almost 10 years old. But look at what I found. And when you start to show them validation, that's true. You're on the right track. All these are legitimate concerns, objections, whatever you want to call it. The question is, how prepared are we? How prepared are we to address them? And I'm still waiting for the good ones. The good ones are, I don't believe you. The good ones are, I don't think you know what you're talking about. The good ones are, I don't kind of trust you. The good ones are when it comes back to us. Do you think it's ever us? If so, what percentage of the time do you think it was because of us? Anybody? Other than Rochelle, because Rochelle's the only one here, it looks like. Do you think it's ever us? Ever? No. Okay. Well, I hate to break it to
Absolutely.
you, but a lot of the time, of course it's us. We drag ourselves in there unprepared. We drag ourselves, we're fiddling because we don't know what to say. We're trying to remember a script because we haven't practiced. We don't even know how to compel them when we show them the numbers. We don't know how to properly explain the percentages. Of course it's us. Most of the time, it's us. And so the question for you is, what can I do to simply increase? You know what? Let me see if it's here. Let me just show it to you right now while I have it here on the screen. And I know you can't see it. So let me just pull this up. One thing I'll show you. It's up there. It's up there. Oh, let me see if here it is. It's up there with the following. It's up there. Let me get one of the top reasons. Let me just pull this up so you can kind of see it. One of the top reasons I also get from people is, and nobody has said it yet, is they just don't have any money. Now, when you hear that, are there times when maybe they don't have any money? Of course that might be the case. They're going through a divorce, they're trying to see how it's finalized. First of all, why the hell did you make an appointment if that's the case? If they make an appointment, do you think that they checked off how to receive tax-free retirement income, how to eliminate stock market risk, life insurance you don't have to die to use, how to maximize my pension and retirement? Do you think that these are all going to just be free? Of course they know that there could potentially be an investment involved. Well, duh, because we covered that in the presentation. However, it's just our inability sometimes to help them find the money. How come with some of our people, you never hear them say, they said no because of the money. They're just too broke. You don't hear that too often. You hear that with the less mature, less experienced agents. And again, we just simply failed. That's the word. We failed to make them see how they do have the money. And not only have the money, when they understand what's on the line, they find where the hell they get the money from. And I'll give you an example, and I'm going to end it right here. Let me give you an example. Minimum expectations. If you're not looking to do this in 2024, go find somewhere else to take your business to, because we are not going to be working with people that are just simply thinking too small. There's no sense in doing that. If you're looking to close just 8 IULs a month at $300 a month in premiums with a $3,000 target premium at average of 70% contract, that's $2,100 to you. If you do 8 of these, that's $16,800. If you do these for 12 months, that's $200,000. If you have to give up the 25% split because somebody else opened it, you still make $151,000 a year. Now you might say, yeah, but we don't do the whole 12 months. Great, you're right. Let's just do it times 9. 9 months. You're taking the summer off. You're taking the New Year's Eve off and the New Year's Day and the spring break off. you're still making 151,000, of which 75% of that is 113. Now, if you've been here more than 6 months and you're still giving up splits, there's something wrong with you, because you need to get your butt in gear and open up your own schools. There's only 780 in the LAUSD, and we're only working 30 of them. So you need to get, then at that point, you're the problem, because you shouldn't be doing that. You should be taking the full 200,000 or 150,000. However, along those lines, with the very same clientele, if you understand how to find the money, who can tell me how much did the LAUSD get a pay raise for? Anybody?
About 21%, 22%.
Okay. Anybody else?
25%.
Yes. It's over time. But let me ask you a question that I ask every single teacher. Now, the good news is that you just got a pay raise. I don't give them an amount. They know the numbers. The good news is you just got a pay raise. And let me ask you a question. How long have you been saving $300 a month? Let's just say, Mr. Brian, how long have you been saving $300 a month now?
A couple of years.
A couple of years. Now, do you think the cost of living, inflation has gone up in those years? Of course it has.
Yeah.
And the reality is that that's purchasing power you're losing when you retire. So if you do anything, even if it's not with me, call your 403B person. Tell them you want to go to $400 or $500 just because you want to stay ahead of inflation. And that would be the best advice I can give you. However, I'm going to show you something better that's going to provide you with not just what you want, but then some. Right now, you're at 56% pension. I'm going to show you how to get to 75 to 80%. Would that interest you, Mr. Brian? I mean,
Absolutely.
now you get to retire with dignity and on your terms. But obviously, it's going to take some type of investment. Now, we already have $300 to $400 that you should be paying. That's already spoken for. Let's call it $400. Now, realistically, for you to retire on your terms, Mr. Brian, and be able to stay retired, live life like you deserve to live, realistically, on top of those $400, realistically, what do you think you can do on a monthly basis to make sure you leave nothing to chance? Because you only get one chance to get this right. And I don't want you to be like most teachers that retire on a Friday and start their new job, not career, their new job, no benefits, nothing, because they just cannot afford to stay retired. Realistically, considering you just got a nice pay raise, by the way. And let me ask you a question, Mr. Brian, not you, but most teachers, what do you think most teachers do with that pay raise? If they don't put it to work, what do you think most of them will do?
Spend it.
Spend it. I mean, that's what we would all do. Most of us would do. So if you're already, or you should be at around 400, realistically, to take you from the 56% that you just told me, with 56%, you're not going to be even able to pay your mortgage, let alone live life on your terms and retire and travel and just enjoy life. Realistically, what more do you think you can save to make your goals a reality?
I could probably add another 300 to that with the raise.
Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just call it adding 200. Instead of 3, let's just leave it at 600. Is that fair enough? Just for numbers' sake, okay?
Sure.
And here we go. Instead of being 56%, now you're going to be at 83%. We generated another stream of lifetime income for you that's tax-free. And here's the best part. It's not going to help you just during your retirement, during your working years as well. And it's going to protect your spouse and your children in the event something happens to you or you get sick or whatever the case might be. And so now you either win or they win, which is simply incredible. Now, if we just learn how to get people to see the sense of urgency that they do have the money. Now, where he gets the money, that's his damn problem. But most of them will just take it from what they blow. And if you do that, instead of 8 IULs for $300 a month, if all you did was increase the amount to $600 a month, $6,000 target premium, 70% is $4,200. That's $33,600 for 12 months. That's $400,000 a month. If you're doing splits, that's still over $300,000. And if you're doing just 9 months, which I hope you do because you're enjoying your life with your spouse on your terms, not sweating the bills and so on, you're still making $300,000. Not a year, but in 9 months. If you split it, that's still almost $250,000. And then, of course, the saddest story we have from 2023 has been how we stepped over dollars to pick up nickels by missing all of the annuities out there. You can find a $100,000 annuity, meaning existing money, all day long. All day long. If you get the product that pays just 6%, that's $6,000. 70% of that is 4,200. You do one a week. If you're doing 8 IULs, these 4 are going to come by default, just so you know. And if it's not 4, it may be 3, but one of them will probably be for 200,000. And that's still $200,000 or $151,000 on top of your 300,000 or 400,000 from the previous screen. And that's what you're here for. Not to barely scrape by, not to be hurting, no. You're here to thrive. That's why I want you to understand this. But like I said earlier, that old stinky smelly version of us from 2023 won't cut it in 2024. And if you have nothing better to bring to the table than yourself from 2023, I'm telling you right now, you will never get to where you deserve to be. Very, very simple. So anyways, so like I said, prepare themselves. And I'm not going to get into it. So this is some of the stuff you need. Questions in the prospects' minds. Can I trust you? And many a times, the answer is no. You're just fiddle farting with your pencil, with your pen, with your key. You can't get the numbers right. So yeah, well, I'll tell you that, yeah. Appointment 2, sure. Put me down for next Thursday, and I will ghost you. And they should. Because in their mind, you don't know what the hell you're doing. They just wanted to get you out of the classroom. And so when people say, they're just ghosting me, well, they should ghost you. You would ghost yourself. And we got to change that. Very, very simple. Not easy, but very, very simple. Now, what is this? What's in it for me? And can you prove it? We address all these things with our software. Will it really give me what I want and need? Do I really need it right now? And that what brings us to the most important things. The process of selling is to find a deep want or interest. What are some of the deep wants or interests we're in? Anybody? Real quick, come on, guys, just spit it out. Because they're scaring me. What?
Protect my family.
That's a big one. You know what people will do to protect their family? They will do more to protect their family than they will do to protect them. So if you're not incorporating their family into your presentation about the retirement and make it all about their retirement and their pension and their retirement, your closing ratio is going to be a lot lower. Because I'm an example of that. I will go above and beyond. I would live in a cardboard box if I had to, because I don't care. But for my family, I can't do that to them. And so therefore, you need to learn to do that. What's another want or deep want or interest? Anybody?
Covering future medical and health costs.
Okay, we see that happening all around us. You know, we're getting, like I told you, it's my birthday. And you start to see things a little different. You start to see people go that are ahead of you, falling into all kinds of medical, pitfalls. And you're like, damn. So yeah, what's another one? Anybody?
What happens if you get hurt?
Okay, that's a legitimate one. You get hurt. Absolutely. Anybody else? Come on.
Inflation.
What is it?
Inflation.
Inflation. And I think one of the things that you need to consider is for those that were at the workshop last week, keep that 2-page handout that I gave you that CalSTRS gives out now. What they're doing, they are giving a disclaimer. They're telling their members, just so you know, you're going to get to between 50 and 60% on average. So there's nobody that can complain. Now, when you ask the average person, does 50 to 60% sound right for you when you're retired? Like that's what you're doing this whole putting up with these kids and doing everything? And they'll tell you, hell no. So get your hands on it and don't let it go. Laminate it. Okay. And then number 2 is to disturb them. Stirring up the hurt is not negative. It's your job to be a healer of the hurt. And that's where we suck. That's where we're failing to stop. I'd rather have a teacher throw me out and say, you know what? That's it. Just get the hell out of me. You're being too negative. I'd rather have that than me go through my look, you're going to get 50 to 60%. Is that enough? Maybe it is for you. You might move to Costa Rica where it's a lot cheaper. And who the hell said anything about Costa Rica? Nothing. And before they look at it, they're like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Hey, good. I might be in Costa Rica, I guess, according to this guy. No, you want to be able to do that. Disturb them. And until you do that, sales ain't going to happen. Or you're going to take that 15% that we're going to do it with or without you, add another 5 or 10%, you're at 20, 25%, and that sucks. Because like I said, we're going to publish everybody's numbers, and you don't want to be the one with that crappy number. Show them how to heal their discomfort by using your product. Very, very simple. And just remember one thing, an undisturbed prospect will not buy. And so when somebody doesn't buy for you most of the time, there just wasn't enough disturbing them, if you would. They were just not disturbed. An undisturbed prospect will not buy. I don't care how good and life insurance and life and National Life's been around for 175 years and all this other crap. that you lay on a thick layer of, unless you disturb them, it doesn't matter to them. And then we get into the urbans, the drafts, which you're going to be able to do. So anyways, to make a long story longer, if you want this, go ahead and break out your phone. If you're on your phone on this webinar, I'm going to post this on our YouTube channel, which is FFS on youtube.com. Whatever you do, please do not call me. Please do not text me. Please do not email me. Tell me how you were somewhere where you couldn't get it. Wait for the recording to come out. Watch it on YouTube, pause the video, and scan the QR code on the screen right now. Don't ask me for it. I'm just going to ignore you. I'll tell you that right now. I've got a million things going on, and the last thing I need to do is start sending out individual emails or group emails about something that, you can take a screenshot of right now on your phone. And when you take a screenshot, you can go ahead and open up your photos, go to that screenshot, and it'll read the QR code. And if not, call somebody else that you see here on the webinar, but don't call me. And so the last thing I want to mention is this, because I've been getting a lot of questions about this. And listen to me. Like I told you, this is something that's very, really, really, really hot as it relates to marketing, telemarketing. Now, you might say, I don't deal in this. I don't deal with this. I don't buy leads. I've never bought a lead in my life. However, if you're getting them from somebody, you're buying them from somebody, it might not be as, quote, illegal for you, even though it is, but it might not be for you, but it will be for them. So just stay on top of it is what I'm saying. Be very, very, very careful, because this falls into the whole lead generation that the FCC is coming down hard. They just fined the company $7.2 million for this. And so don't be the one that gets caught up in it, is what I'm saying. So what does this mean? Well, you can go ahead and read the whole thing for yourself. As a matter of fact, I have a QR code. This is another one. There's a group for life insurance agents, and it's saying that, is it true that the FCC is making leads illegal? What actions are you going? Boom, 99 comments on it like you wouldn't believe. So if you're doing that, here's what I recommend. We are fully compliant because the rule says it has to be on a 1-to-1 basis. What does that mean? That means that you have to generate a lead, and it has to be with the person or persons that are going to handle the lead. If I'm just generating leads on Facebook, if I'm generating leads on the internet, if I'm generating leads anywhere, and I'm booking appointments, and then I'm selling them to a second party, that's where the law is broken. Now he falls into the whole communication side. So it's not life insurance, just so you know. It's not leads per se. It's the personal information. That's how they nipped it in the butt. It has to be one person to one person, and it's only for 60 days, after which you have to get consent all over again directly from that person. So if you are interested in it, here's a little bit about the fact sheet. It's more about technology. It's all about technology of how we obtain the information. It's not necessarily the lead itself, but once I get your contact or personal information, I cannot depart with that information, even with a disclaimer like we used to have on the bottom of the websites. This information can be sold, given, transferred to our marketing partners. Like we've seen that everywhere. That's illegal now. You can't do hyperlinks anymore. Stay on top of it. If you want to read more about it, just scan this right here. I'm like I said, it doesn't affect us because we generate 1-to-1 leads. They're fully compliant. And as a matter of fact, what we do is going to go up in value in 2024 for that reason. So don't worry about it. Just simply go ahead and do that. Stay compliant, and you'll be good to go. What I want to do at this point is turn it over to you guys. George, anything you want to add? Anybody that has any questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up? Anybody?
Javier, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Oh, first of all, I want to say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Belated birthday. Second, I was there for the meeting last Wednesday. So I did ask, I registered for both classes, didn't realize I did that. I don't have to be there for tomorrow, right? It's going to be the same
No,
thing.
you don't. So if somebody, there's two spots, because there's another person that did the same thing from last week. They didn't know. And so there's two spots available. If you haven't been to the one from last week and you didn't register for this week, look at your old emails or whatever the case might be and pull it up there. Thank you very much for bringing that up. There's two spots available right now for anybody.
Javier, I just went there and it says it's sold out.
Oh, okay. Well, what happened is somebody took the one spot that was available, because I'll clear another spot right now, and I'm going to clear Monica's name, so it'll be there. And I'll do it while I speak. So, George, anything you want to say? Were you going to say something? Go ahead.
Just going to add, just to emphasize what you were saying about 2024. One of the things that I've recognized about this, the current market right now, is we really don't have a lot of competition. A lot of people are just no longer in the business that we normally would encounter at the schools, which is great for us because we have a huge opportunity. But, you know, just as we all know, it'll be a matter of time before the school markets are going to be flooded once again. So you guys got to take advantage of this current school year, the school market. More people show up.
Got it. Now, and that's true. And so what we're going to do, just so you know, and that's why we say it would be better if you took ownership, if you took ownership of schools right now by making your own, building a relationship, maintaining that relationship, and so on. Then it's going to be very, very important for you to go ahead and do that. And so if there's a time to do that, trust me when I tell you this, it's going to be right now, because I think George is absolutely right. People, especially with this FCC ruling, I guarantee you that there are going to be people that are going to start scrambling to get back into schools because they've been buying leads. And it's going to be, I don't think they're going to go away, because I think people will break the law or the ruling anyways, because until somebody gets caught, it's just, we can't, especially if it's part of your livelihood, which I'm all for it. Go for it. I'm just saying, I want nothing to do with it, because I know what it's like to get caught up in things like that. And it is such a tremendous hassle that, in my opinion, it's just not worth it. So my recommendation for everybody, get with the schools right now. But like I said, make sure that you are definitely bringing value to the to your client by being up to speed on everything. Thank you.
I have a question.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to be on these.
Javier.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question. Do you know when you will hold another audition?
We're doing this just so you guys know. Thank you for reminding me. If you are interested, now, if you're coming to the meeting tomorrow, we're going to do part of it. But if you really, really want to get yourself up and running on the closing side, and then on top of that, you really want to go ahead and become a killer closer, I'm holding a special event Thursday morning. What we're doing is we have one audition at 9 a.m. for appointment number 2. So that one's going to take a little longer, like 45 minutes or 30 minutes. But at 9:30, basically, we're going to start drilling everybody that either A, needs to pass their audition, needs to be a great closer, because we're going to roll out a lot of new technology, including the fillable PDF. Because one problem we're having with people is with the formula, this one's going to be digital format. We're going to do all this stuff. And so we're going to also do auditions as soon as the class is over on Thursday morning. We're going to go right into auditions for anybody that wants to do their auditions. So the answer is Thursday, because once this week is over, guys, you're going to have to wait for a long time, because we are jam-packed and slammed that no, we're not going to block a whole day to go do auditions. We just don't have it. The only thing that I'm doing differently is if you want to come out to Ontario, I'll give you a time that you come out to Ontario and do your audition around here. And then, other than that, ain't nothing going to happen in LA outside of writing business, closing business, and all that other stuff. So Thursday, if you want to do it, anytime after 9:30, 10, we'll be good to go. Anybody else? All right. Well, I'm not going to make it longer than I have to. I just want to say thank you. Welcome to 2024. I hope you buckle up. Yes, go ahead.
This is Manny. Could you open up a second slot for tomorrow?
There's one. Okay, I'll put you down, Manny.
Thank you.
Just make sure you're there at 8:30. Okay.
Okay.
Javier, can you tell me where you're going to post the Mastering Influence?
It's in that QR code I showed on the screen.
Okay, perfect.
If you have here, hold on. Let me go back over here. Oh, hold on. Let me just pull this up. If you see that, so either get a screenshot of it, or just go ahead and scan it now. But this is Mastering Influence, like I said. Alrighty? All right. All right. If no one has anything else, I just want to say thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you. I love you to death. But like I said, I just want the best for you. And I know that the best way to massive income is by scaling up, but also by making sure that we go ahead and bring down any barriers. And one of our barriers right now is that our closing ratio sucks. We need to improve that. We need to improve that collectively a lot. And that's only due to one thing, either practice or lack of practice. That's all it is. That's all it is. And so we want to make sure that we train you. So if you are going to be there on Thursday, it's just a special workshop. If you don't have anything else going on, you want to show up, we're going to drill like we've never drilled before. And we need everybody. Even if you've been in the previous trainings, it's different. It's all about closing. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about the, your slice of the pie. We're going to talk about the psychology and so on. And it starts this week. So, because next week we're back to work. Thank you so much, everybody.
I have a question about that. Where's the workshop going to be at on Thursday?
Terra Nova over with the.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Thank you.